More and more today I'm seeing Christians everywhere who are calling for war, the death and destruction of their fellow man. And to be frank, it baffles me. I may not go to church as much as I should, but I'm pretty familiar with the teachings of Christ. I've delved into the Word more than the average Christian, and I'm pretty sure Jesus taught peace, and loving as he is loved. So why the hatred then? Why the support for these wars that kill thousands of innocents? Why support the bribes and propping up of aggressive dictators around the world, only to turn and stab them in the back later? Have we really fallen so far that we can no longer understand the basic fundamentals of wisdom taught in Proverbs, taught by Christ? The goal of this is not to force faith upon anyone, but to give those who do follow this faith like myself a greater understanding. John 13:34-35 says, "A new command I give you, love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this all men will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." And another, Galatians 5:22-23 says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law." These two verses are much closer related than people seem to realize, and let me explain why. The final command Jesus left us was to love as he loved. By itself it seems almost too broad of a command, but in reality it's all the command simplified. Mark 12:28-31 says, "One of the teachers of the law came and heard them debating. Noticing that Jesus had given them a good answer, he asked him, 'Of all the commandments, which is the most important?' 'The most important one,' answered Jesus, 'is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these." Now the reason there is no commandment greater than these two is because there are prerequisites to the rest of them. Jesus made it even simpler by giving us a prime example, his life, and commanding us to love as he loved. Do you see? If you look at Galatians again, the fruit of the Spirit, you notice that each of those things were attributes of Christ. It's who Christ was. And it is the perfect guide in how we are supposed to live our lives, providing that good example so that others see it and want what we have. Psalm 34:14 says, "Turn from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it." Seek peace and pursue it. Our country used to be that shining city on a hill. We're the freest nation to have ever existed. And used to be, people wanted that. It's why America became a melting pot. And ultimately, it's how people were able to realize just how much potential they had by living in a country that offered them the freedom to explore it. But somewhere along the way we turned our back on that. Was it that we became too complacent? Too lazy, too detached from the rest of the world, that we no longer know what it means to feel empathy? I think it's a bit of all of those, and so much more. It's easy to do. After all, we're here, in the greatest country, surrounded by friends, food, and our stomachs, shoes on our feet. I challenge you all to really do your research. See what war really is. See the videos of the innocent children burned and maimed, their jaws blown off as they lay there on the table terrified, not wanting to die. A city leveled, all to find one man. One man. See the deaths of innocent civilians caught in the crossfire of our aggressive wars overseas. All the people who've lost their homes. Not something you want to see? I don't blame you. It's not something any decent person wants to see. But it happens. And choosing not to see it, not to expose yourself to it, doesn't take away that fact. It doesn't make it go away. Just realize that the people who suffer most from war are not those who we are after, but those caught in the middle. Terrorism is a tactic. You can't invade other countries to find criminals. It doesn't work. As you can see, the wars never end. Instead, we should go back to that model that Christ taught, being an example, offering friendship even to those who mean us harm, even to those who do us wrong. Ron Paul is the only one who sees this, and that is why I'll be voting for him in 2012.